Interlude, God is our designer, protector, and keeper. An interlude between the Psalms, this time from Psalm 145:16, you open your hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. While the emphasis is on God's common grace to humanity, it was God who created the earth as his personal garden. It was created as a garden of balance and design, sustained by a supreme gardener with every bit of the creation dependent on him for sustenance. The same sentiment was reiterated in Psalm 104:27-28, all of them wait for you to give them their food at the right time. 28 When you give it to them, they gather it, when you open your hand, they are satisfied with good things. HCSB, some will choose to argue the truthfulness of this verse because of the number of people scattered throughout the different nations of the world today that are suffering and are in a state of starvation, but is that God's fault? There is substantial food in the world to feed everyone, the problem is distribution, and whose fault is that? I suppose we could assign most of the results of human starvation to greed and power. Statistically speaking, the minimum amount of agricultural land necessary for sustainable food security, with a diversified diet similar to those of North America and Western Europe, hence including meat, is 0.5 of a hectare per person. An acre is about 0.405 hectare. This does not allow for any land degradation such as soil erosion, and it assumes adequate water supplies. If we were to put the United States population into a statistical perspective, it would look like this. The population of the US stands at 3.65 million, and if we divide this into the total number of acres in the U.S.A, there would be enough room for every person to live on 6.5 acres of land. Of course, not all of the land is habitable, the statistic is given only for perspective. The designer of the earth and all that lives within assumes the awesome, mind-boggling responsibility that will satisfy the needs of every living thing. Now think about that. This includes all kinds of creatures, involving people, birds, beasts, fishes, and reptiles, insects and microbes that feed and are fed, the innumerable multitudes that swarm on the earth, in the air, in the waters. God is able and willing to sustain and keep his critters from perishing by cold or hunger or nakedness. To validate this thought, think about how few birds perished by hunger or cold, yet, their habitats vary from the Arctic to Antarctica, and yet their designer has equipped each to prosper in their environment. I am also thinking of the mammals that inhabit the cold tundra of the Arctic, or the scorched deserts of the Sahara, all are environmentally equipped and cared for. If there is a problem at all, it can usually be laid at the feet of humanity. God has given humans the job of a caretaker over his garden of earth.